Welcome back to a new video. Today we're doing top 3 in every single category. So this is kind of like an ultimates favorites video. Top 3 every single category. It was really hard to narrow things down, but I picked my absolute ride or dies. Like if I lost my makeup too, these would be my top 3 picks in every single category. If you are curious about anything I'm wearing on my face today, along with this lip color, I will have it linked below. But before we get started, I do have a quick word from our sponsor of today's video. Ana Luisa is partnering with me for a portion of today's video to share with you their sale and also just some new pieces that I've added to my collection. So currently they're running their Mother's Day sale, which is buy one get one 60% off. But even if you're watching this and the sale has ended, I do have my own coupon code, so don't worry if the sale is over. But it's a great time to pick up some gifts for loved ones, all types of moms. I think it's really important to mention. I know sometimes the holiday is a little bit rough for some of us, but they definitely make beautiful keepsake gifts. As I continue to slowly grow my collection, it makes me so excited because I get to like layer everything. It's like every time I get a new piece, it gets to create like a new look and I can layer it in so many different ways. Really excited. So I guess I will start with the new necklace that I have here, which is just this dainty little like 4-5 prong thing. I don't know how to describe it. It kind of looks like a star. I think a flower is actually the name of it. But this is super pretty and dainty. As I mentioned, I've been into dainty pieces. They're really cool to layer with like chunkier pieces as well. I think they're the most fun for layering. And then I do have some new rings. Another dainty piece is this band here, which is this sort of thin pave look ring. Goes really well with the rope band that I have that also has the stones on it. You could also layer those two together. That would be super pretty. And then last but not least, I decided to get this bracelet because I really don't have any bracelets. And this I thought was so pretty. It's this pearl look, but the beads are sort of like oblong. So it lays really nicely on your wrist and it doesn't look too much like a traditional pearl bracelet, sort of like a more modern look on it. Sort of hesitant about pearls for a while, but I absolutely love this piece and like dainty pearl touches I think are so pretty, especially for the summer. It kind of gives like a slightly beachier look. Layer this with watches or like other bracelets that you have. If you haven't heard of this brand, by the way, they are a sustainable jewelry company. They are carbon neutral and they make pieces that are made to last, and I really do notice the quality. I've been working with Ana Luisa for a while now, and all the pieces that I have that are older, they've worn really well. So I compare them to the new ones and they basically look the same, which is so great because if you are investing in some jewelry, you want it to last a long time, right? And these pieces are so well made. They're always releasing new styles that are still so classic. Like I have this rope ring, which is a classic style from them, but then I also have this like new version of it which has stones on it. It's just like a slight twist and they just match together, but also they're all a little bit different in their own way. Oh, that made me remember, I almost forgot to mention these, but oh my gosh. So these are like the sister product to this rope ring with the stones on it. It is the rope hoops with stones on them. So I already have these in the plain version and they're definitely my most worn earrings. So I had to get this like slightly more glam version. I love the shape of these and the size. They're just perfect because you can wear them casually but also like as a glam look. And they also come in these little sustainable pouches, so there's no plastic and they're great for travel. So to check them out, I will have my link in the description below. I'll also put my coupon code on the screen here because in case you missed the sale, you can still use my code to grab yourself a discount. Let's get into today's video. Let's get this video rolling with primers. My number one favorite, this is like a glowy based product, but I would call this a primer. It's the Saie, let's see if I can get it right, Star Glow Glowy Super Gel. This was a recent repurchase of mine. If you watch my Sephora sale haul, it's just so pretty and glowy. It's water-based, so it's really lightweight. Unlike a lot of other glowy products that can be a little bit heavier. If you have dry skin, you might like those better, but this one is so hydrating and beautiful for any skin type, and it just gives you a glow without being glittery or really texture enhancing. And I really like the skincare properties in it as well. Another great primer that adds lots of glow is the RMS Beauty Re-Evolve Radiance Locking Primer. This one has a slight pink tint to it, but it doesn't really transfer onto the face. This is more of like a clear gel-ish consistency. It is just as like refreshing and hydrating as the Saie Beauty one. Let me swatch that for you. Quite similar consistencies. The Saie one is much more liquidy though, and you can tell it has more of a reflect. This is more hydrating and has a little bit more body to it, so maybe if you wanted something slightly more moisturizing. But they're both really gorgeous on their own or under makeup. They're super versatile, and I think a lot of different skin types would like both of these too. Now, if you're looking for more of a smoothing, blurring primer that still gives you a really healthy glow, this Iconic London Underglow Blurring Primer is super unique. The one thing is this does have like a scent to it more than the other two. Those are like natural scents. This one like smells more artificial. So this is more of a smoothing primer. Maybe if you're used to more silicone-based products, you might like this. You can tell it still gives you a glow, which I think is unique for blurring, like pore-filling primers. Not a lot of them add glow to your skin like this one does. So it makes your skin look super healthy. It definitely like increases the longevity of makeup as well. This is like a really modern take on smoothing primers, and I just love the look of it. Moving on to my 3 favorite foundations. This was kind of a tough one. You know how picky I am with foundations, but there was one I automatically thought of, which is the Kosas Revealer Foundation. This is just so good. I have this on today. I like how it has SPF 25 for an added layer of sun protection. It's just beautiful and moisturizing without being heavy, and it lays beautifully over texture. It can be a little bit heavy if you use too much. I definitely recommend using your fingers. Using your fingers with this really melts it into the skin, or a sponge. I usually will do both, or just a sponge, and I think it just looks so natural. It gives a really good solid medium coverage, which is great for like a more clean foundation. And I really like this lightest shade 100. It is like a neutral olivey shade. This is a beautiful, beautiful foundation, and it's just one that I always grab if I want my skin to look good. If you're into something a little bit more sheer, I really like this Weis foundation. This is not my shade, so unfortunately I don't get to use this a lot. I've just been waiting to repurchase it. This is very light and gel-like. It's kind of like an indescribable formula. I don't like the applicator, by the way. It like doesn't really pick up product. It's like a gel-based, very, very lightweight foundation. If you like foundations that don't feel or look like anything on your skin, this is like the holy grail of that category. And my last favorite is actually a newer foundation to me. I wanted to mention a drugstore option. This is from Revlon. It's the Skin Caring Foundation. This is a really great, another like more thin type of foundation. So it has like light medium coverage. It's very buildable. It just makes your skin look really healthy. Doesn't really have a scent to me either, which is nice. And it has 5% squalane and hyaluronic acid, which are really nice hydrating skincare ingredients. It's a nice skincare based foundation from the drugstore. It does wear very well and looks very light and natural on the skin. Next, for concealer, my #1 pick is the Jouer concealer. This is the lightest shade called Lace. I think this is their essential coverage concealer. I use this in almost every single video under my eyes. It's full coverage but still very lightweight. I am wearing it today, which is what I think makes it unique. Is it's like this creamy light formula that doesn't crease. I have a lot of problems with creasing, and this one really sets down and doesn't like settle because it's not so thin that it'll just immediately settle into lines. A lot of more like hydrating concealers that are thinner I find just don't work for me. So if you're like me and you like something like a little bit thicker that has more coverage, this is just such a gem. Next, if you like something more moisturizing, the Rose Ink Concealer is a great pick. This is full coverage. I love the shade of this as well. This is just one of those big chunky concealers, not the formula, the applicator. This does like separate a little bit. Sometimes you have to shake it, but this shade is literally like a fair neutral olive. It is so beautiful. If you want something that's still full coverage, but maybe you have a bit more dry under eyes, this one's really nice. I also love this for just all over the face. Next, my favorite blemish specific concealer would have to be the Kosas Revealer Concealer. This for under the eyes, I do not like, it creases, but this just like juicy hydrating formula that's still full coverage for blemishes, I love it because it doesn't accentuate dryness or like accentuate the blemish and get cakey. It just like offers such good coverage. You can use just a tiny bit of it. Really versatile around the face. You might like it under the eyes if you have more dry under eyes, but this is definitely my favorite for spots. Maybe if I want to boost my coverage, just really handy. Next, I wanted to mention 3 corrector type of products, especially if you have fair skin. These are amazing. First is a white concealer. This one, I think I like the Cover FX one a little bit better, but this one I just had on hand. I don't know where the Cover FX one is. They have a white concealer in that formula that's more hydrating. This one is a little bit more matte from e.l.f. It's their Camo Concealer in white. But this to mix into foundation or concealer is really handy if you're very fair and just a lot of products are too dark on you. And then another great thing to have on hand if you have fair skin or fair olive skin is correctors that you can mix in or use on their own. This green one is great for redness, but if you have fair olive skin, you can also mix this into foundations to sort of create that green undertone. I also have the blue one, which is good to mix in with more pink foundations to balance them out, or to mix into yellow foundations, which also create green because yellow and blue equals green. These are just really good and they're also super affordable. And then for my under eye corrector, the Pixi by Petra, this is the Brightening Peach. Comes in this little pot. This thing will last you forever. It is just like nice and thick and moisturizing, but it doesn't settle into lines, which I was so surprised by. This is a hidden gem at the drugstore. If you need an under eye corrector, this one is really great. Oh, before we do setting powders, I do have 3 powder foundations to mention as well. I wanted to include a powder foundation category. First, the Pure, this is their Pressed Mineral Makeup 4-in-1 LG2. This doesn't have a ton of coverage on its own, but I like using this on top of foundations to boost my coverage. They have really good fair shades as well. This is LG2. It's a nice golden undertone. It's so lightweight and it never ever looks cakey, and it's just a beautiful mineral-based foundation. I also really like the Bareminerals Bare Pro foundations. These wear incredibly well and definitely give you more coverage. The thing with Bareminerals is their like base products never match me though. Like this is Fair 10 Warm. The neutral ones, they run super peachy, which always looks just like very odd on my skin. Like it looks like it would match me, but on my face it gives me that like pinkish peaches like tint, which just looks super unnatural, which is unfortunate, but if you can find a shade in this, I do like it. Last but not least is such a classic. They have a lot of great shades in this as well. This is Alima Pure, their Satin Matte Foundation. I have the pressed and the loose. I think I like the loose a little bit better if you're looking for more coverage, but the pressed one is great to add on top of foundation. I usually use this on top of foundation. I just ordered the Olive Zero shade. I had no idea they had olive shades in this foundation, so I'm super excited to try it because this one is Cool 1, which is just too cool tone for me. So I will keep you updated on that, and I will probably try the olive shade in a video coming up soon. This is so gentle if you have allergies or you need to boost coverage, like you have a lot of redness in your skin but you don't want anything irritating. This is such a gem to have on hand. It is gorgeous. Next for setting powders, this is a new powder to me, but I had to mention it. The Haley's Retouch Soft Focus Setting Powder. This is really similar to the Ilia powder in my opinion. It is just a loose powder. I have it on today. It is so blurring. It's very lightweight on the skin, so it doesn't get like patchy or cakey. It's just blurred instantly. It also doesn't deepen my under eyes or my face significantly, so it's a beautiful under eye setting powder. I'm very picky with powders, and this is a great one. And then what I like for all over my face is this Bareminerals Original Mineral Veil. What I love about this pressed version is they made it truly translucent. Before, the mineral veil had this peachy tint to it in true Bareminerals fashion, like everything was peachy, but this is like a truly translucent powder. It's so good for touch-ups, but also just all over the face. It's what I have on today. It's lightweight, it really doesn't feel like anything, and it's not too mattifying, but it does set everything in place and just lock it down for the day. My favorite tinted under eye powder is this Maybelline Fit Me Loose Finishing Powder. This is the lightest shade, which is super duper light. It's 05 Fair. I love this. It does not look cakey. I usually don't use this on its own. I don't really prefer it on its own. I like to do a layer of the Haley's Beauty powder or my Ilia powder, which I don't have on hand, but that was sort of like an honorable mention. I still really love that powder for under the eyes, but I'm just using the Haley's Beauty one right now. This on top of it just to like brighten the hollows of my eyes. I shared a little tip of how I do that in my last fair skin makeup video, so this is really good. I also put this in my brows to lighten them. It's just like super handy. Moving along to bronzers, let's start with the cream formula, also a new product. Triple Threat Color Stick from Thrive Cosmetics. They've had these for a while, but they just released these bronzer shades, and this is the lightest shade, Mo. I just love the shade and formula of this. I mean, look at that. It's the perfect like neutral color. If you have fair skin, it does not pull orange. I have it on today layered with some other products. but I really like the cream formula as well. It's a little bit thicker, so it's not super dewy, so it wears very well. It has that longevity, and it also has a good amount of pigment and blends out beautifully. My powder matte bronzer pick, it was between this and the Fenty bronzer, but I think this one I like a little bit better. It's the Pure Bronzing Act. I think they still sell this on Pure's website. It used to be on Ulta. I will check and link it below, but you can tell that I really love this. It is just the lightest like bronzer you can basically find, which is why I love it for fair skin, because it's so buildable. I really like a bronzer that I could just go into and not worry about it just absolutely being way too pigmented. It just has this beautiful like neutral undertone, never ever pulls orange. It looks so natural. It's a super smooth matte, smells like cocoa powder. It's just absolutely stunning, such a gem. I feel like not a lot of people talk about this bronzer. There's a limited shade range, so it's really only if you have fair skin. I think they have one darker shade. Check it out if you're interested. And my favorite shimmery bronzer pick had to be the Flower Beauty Heatwave bronzer. My compact is broken. This is a good drugstore pick. So it actually looks cooler in the pan than it does swatched, but it is a beautiful, like definitely has more red than these other two. Like these are definitely really great neutral cool bronzers. This one has some more red, but it shears out so nicely, and I love the shimmer in it because it's so fine. It just gives you like a glow without looking like you have any like shimmer on your face. So this one I do have to be more careful with, but if you want something more glowy and pigmented and maybe you do like more warm bronzers, this is your girl. Let's move into contour. My first liquid product is KVD Mod Con Contour in the Fair Cool shade. This is not a super cool contour, but what I love about this is the gel formula, because when you blend it out, it is sheer, so it like mimics a shadow very, very well. It's so great if you're new to contour and you don't want to like end up looking muddy. It's just really hard to mess up. It always looks beautiful. And then my other pick is a new launch from e.l.f. I had to mention this. It's quickly become a favorite. e.l.f. Halo Glow Beauty Wand in the contour shade. They absolutely nailed the shade of this. I have this on today. It's the perfect like stone cool tone contour, but it's not too cool tone that it's gray, and it is more of a sheer formula, so it looks a little bit more natural than those like full coverage contours. So I have this on top of my foundation layered with the cream bronzer. It just looks so natural. I do have a full review of that if you're interested, so I won't talk any more about it. And my last contour is, if you want something a little more pigmented and very cool toned, Fenty Beauty Cream in the shade Amber. This is just a beautiful, like more moisturizing cream contour product. It is still like more sheer and blendable than say like the Anastasia contour sticks. But as you can tell out of the shades, it has the most cool tone like depth to it. This you kind of have to be careful with because it can go gray very quickly, but used in moderation, this is absolutely beautiful. This would be great if you do like more full coverage or glam look. Moving on to our blush category, I have 3 favorites here. They all happen to be powder. So first is the RMS Beauty Redimension Hydra Blush. This is the shade French Rose. These are absolutely stunning. I have this on today. What I love about these is this like baked formula. Not only is it really pigmented and pretty, but I just love baked formulas because they give you that glowy shine without it looking like shimmer or glitter. And this is such a gorgeous blue based pink, which is great if you have like fair, cool skin. So I have this on today. I use a more fluffy brush to like sheer it out. It's kind of like not showing up on camera, but I do have it on quite heavily and it just gives you that glow. And another thing I love about this is the glow is like a cool tone glow. A lot of blushes have like warmth in them, but this one is really just like a cool tone dream. I have my eye on their like purpley shade next. That looks so pretty. I do also have a discount code with RMS. It's always linked in the description if you're interested, for 20% off. Next, another glowy blush, also baked formula, no surprise. This is like an old favorite of mine, Hourglass Ambient Lighting and Mood Exposure. This is kind of what got me into like cool toned mauve-y blushes. It has way less shimmer than the RMS Beauty one, so if you want like a lighter airbrush look, then this one is super pretty. It is more sheer, as you can tell, but you can definitely build it up, and this one's a lot more muted if you're not quite into like those bright cool tones, but both of these have various shades and I just love their formulas. This is pricey, but definitely worth it. And then lastly, my matte blush pick is the Persona blush. I specifically like Bubble. Again, this very bright, cool tone pink. These look so bright, but when you put them on your face and sheer them out, they are so gorgeous if you have cool tone skin. They do have some warmer shades. It's just a really nice matte formula that is matte and smoothing, but it doesn't look flat on your skin, so it's really gorgeous combined with other products. For highlight, this can be sort of like a notoriously hard thing to find if you have fair skin. All of these are light enough where they do not cast dark on my skin, and they're very flattering undertones. First, my cream favorite is the Westman Atelier Lit Up Stick Highlighter Stick. This is the shade Lit Up. So this is basically a clear base, but it has a slight purple sheen to it. It's very subtle, it's very, very shiny. These don't last the longest and they're very moisturizing, so if you have more dry skin, I like these. Or if I know I'm like gonna be inside and like my hair is gonna be sticking to my face and I want something very glowy and moisturizing, the shimmer is also very, very fine, so it doesn't look chunky or texture enhancing. On the purple train as well, a powder option, the Bareminerals highlighter in Whimsy. This is their Endless Glow highlighter. Another one that has a white base to it. This has a little bit more like chunkier. It's not chunky, it's just definitely a step up from the Westman Atelier one. But you can still tell it has this gorgeous pinky purple like iridescent to it. So flattering on fair skin. Last is a new favorite. I just recently tried it and instantly was obsessed with it. The Haus Labs Radiant Gel Powder Highlight in Moonstone, which is a silver highlight. I was really unsure if this was going to work for my skin or not, but it's like a really nice, basically icy white. Like it's not too gray. I have this on today with the RMS blush, and together they just give me a really flattering glow for my skin, lightness and also undertone, and it doesn't like look like makeup, you know, just amazing. Next for brows, I am definitely guilty of, I just repurchase the same product almost all the time. Usually with makeup, I will stick with more drugstore items for items that I repurchase more, and then I will splurge on items that last me a little bit longer just because I don't want to be repurchasing like a $30 eyebrow pencil every couple months. So my favorite is the NYX Micro Brow in Taupe. The shade isn't perfect, but they do have an ash blonde shade I've been meaning to try. This is just the Taupe one. I have this in my brows 100% of the time. It just works. It stays long. I really like the precise tip. Not much else to say about it. But I do also really like the Kosas Brow Pop, the shade Taupe, which I already ran through, but I have this one in soft brown. This one is good if you like a bit of a chunkier like application, like if you have more to fill in. This one's a really good formula for that because it has a triangular tip, so you can really just like speedily fill in a lot of brows. And then lastly, this is a product I actually hated at first. It's the Rare Beauty like duo eyebrow powders. This is the blonde shade. What's really weird about this is like these are very soft powders. Like I don't know if you can tell, but they're like almost like gel-like, and I was using this brush that comes with it, which is really cool. It like slides in the back for travel, but I don't know, something about like the thickness of this brush wasn't really applying it that well, so I used something thinner, and now I really love these. They're very soft, they're not too warm, so these are really great blonde brow shades. I have both of them mixed in my brows today. I like to use this to set down my brow pencil and fill in any extra gaps. Now to quickly do some brow gels, another cheap favorite that is just something I repurchased. It does the job, NYX Control Freak Eyebrow Gel. This is really super basic. I have it in my brows today. It's just like a full-sized clear eyebrow gel. I prefer clear, so that one just does the job for me. It doesn't have a super long hold to it. It just has like that perfect amount where it holds up your brows, but it's not crunchy or like shiny looking. I also really like the Thrive Cosmetics Instant Brow Fix. This one has a little bit more hold, and just like it is still a wet formula, but it dries down to be really like set down. And then another one that's great is the Kosas Air Brow. They also have a tinted version. I like the clear one. This one also another one that doesn't have a super strong hold, which I prefer because I like more of a soft look in my brows. Still does the job. So let's get into some eyeshadow now. I have 3 palettes here. First, my favorite cool tone palette. I'm sort of just all-in-one is the ColourPop Stone Cold Fox. This is just a really great cool tone neutral. Like, it's not too cool, which is what I love about it. You have a lot of options from pink to brown to grays, shimmers, mattes. As you can tell, I use this like purple a lot as eyeshadow. It's what I'm wearing today. Great super soft look. I also like how you have like a white and a cream that are actually light enough to highlight fair skin. Fair skin, I think this is such a flattering palette because all the tones are really nice and soft, but they have enough pigment so you can sort of play around with day and night looks. Now, if you like warm neutrals, the Master Mattes eyeshadow palette by Makeup by Mario is a classic. These are something that's more sheer, which I think makes them so workable and blendable for the everyday, because you can build them up and play with them, and they're very user-friendly. Not much else to say. They're just a really solid matte formula. And then my last favorite, it has to be the Charlotte Tilbury palette. If I want a really fun, like shimmery look, this is the Luxury palette in Mesmerizing Maroon, which has a matte purple and then these 3 shimmer shades. I'm gonna go ahead and swatch these for you. These are very, very creamy. And like, I think Charlotte does really great metallics. Like, they're so luxurious feeling. I'm not a huge fan of everything that Charlotte Tilbury makes, but these shadows I think are like, you know, you can tell that they're high quality. So we have the matte purple starting over here, and then we have the lightest shimmer, the mid shimmer, and then the darkest purple shimmer. These all together can just create a really pretty smoky look. I wore this a couple videos back. I think a couple of you asked how I did this look. I will have to do a tutorial on it, but this is like my go-to if I wanna spice things up. For eyeliner favorites, my favorite liquid liner is the NYX Epic Wear. It's thin, comes in black and brown. I use the brown one usually. This is the black. You can get a super fine tip. It's basically a dupe for the KVD eyeliner. I used to buy that back in the day, but this is literally exactly the same. And then my 2 favorite pencils, one of them is another product from NYX, the Epic Wear liner sticks. These come in a bunch of different shades. This one is one of my favorites. It's rose gold. This has the most like glitter in it. It's so pretty on the top of the lash line or in the waterline. They wear so well and come in so many different shades. I'm sure you've heard me talking about those, so I won't rant on. Another favorite, more luxe version of the NYX, the Victoria Beckham Satin Kajal liners. These are very creamy and blendable. Again, they come in lots of pretty shades, and it comes with a blender on the other side so you can smoke it out into more of like a smoky eye. They're just beautiful. This is the shade Copper, by the way. For mascara, my first one, the Ilia Limitless Lash, I don't have on hand, but that's a tried and true favorite. Second is the current one I'm using, Maybelline Sky High. Great drugstore version. I usually grab the brown one. I'm wearing it today. It's lengthening, it's separating, it's voluminizing. It does not smudge or flake at all, which is essential for me. And then my third favorite is a classic, Thrive Liquid Lash Extensions. If you want a very dramatic look, this is where you should go. So this is the black one. It's a, what do you call those? Tubing mascara. So it is very thickening and lengthening and gives you a very pretty dramatic look. Tubes also feel really nice. Moving along to lip liners, 3 formulas here. First, NYX lip pencil. These are like an essential basic. This is nude beige. It's super pretty, it's matte, and it's long wearing, so it's not super creamy. If you like a creamier lip pencil, you might not like it, but I really like these traditional like wooden long wear pencils. If you do want something more moisturizing, the Sephora Rouge Gel Lip Liners, as the name suggests, they are gel. They're very creamy, so they're not gonna last a long time, but I really love this shade. It's the lightest one called the Nudist. Really nice, like cool purple undertones. And then my last favorite is the House of Sillage Lip Liner. This is Beige Affair. They have tons of different shades of these. This is the one I'm wearing at the moment. These are another pencil liner. It's almost like a mix between these two. Creamier than the NYX, not quite as creamy as the Sephora, so it's long lasting like the NYX one is. And they just work so well, and they come with a little brush on the other end. For my lipstick picks, I really love the Merit Beauty lipstick, specifically Baby. This is like my more moisturizing lipstick formula go-to, and Baby's a really beautiful neutral pink. Not much else to say about it, but it's a beautiful lipstick formula. And then this from Juice Beauty is really unique. This is called their liquid lip. This is the shade Blythe. It's sort of like a sheer-ish liquid lip. It's not a traditional liquid lip. It's not matte. It's very moisturizing. It's so pretty and plumping. This, like, I wear almost every day with one of the lip liners. And it just gives you, it's like a lip gloss lipstick hybrid. It's so interesting, but I just absolutely love the shade and finish. And then for like my more fun shades, full pigment matte formulas, the Kjaer Weis lipsticks not only look luxurious, but the formula is so luxurious as well. This is the shade Fearless, which is a really great cool tone red. It has a little bit of shimmer in it. The pigment that these pack is just insane. They're so full coverage and very, very bright and come in so many beautiful shades. Luxurious, beautiful, love it. Okay, finally, we're in our last category. I'm like losing my breath here. Lip glosses. 2 more matte ones, but they also have a shimmer formula of this, but it got stolen from me, not from them. So this is the Posh Gloss from Victoria Beckham. This is the shade Fizz. I had the shade Bikini, which was like the nude shimmery shade, which was my favorite. That was the one that got stolen. But these are just really creamy and beautiful, and they are not sticky at all. They're super smooth. So if you like creamy glosses, that one's great. Another creamy option that is from the drugstore, the NYX This Is Milky Gloss. These are a little bit thinner than the Victoria Beckham, but they still give you that like glossy, juicy look. And then this one, I always grab for these, the Pixi by Petra lip lifts. They come in like shimmer, glitter formulas. This one is Honey Sheen, which is one of the more like subdued formulas. Doesn't really have much color to it, but they smell like peppermint, which I really like. And this is the shiniest out of all of them. Just gives you like that super cool reflect on your lips without being sticky or heavy. I don't really like those kinds of glosses. All of these are like relatively thin and smooth feeling. So those were my top 3 picks in every category. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to play along in the comments below and write your own list, maybe it doesn't have to be 3, maybe just your favorite in every category. I think that would be super fun to read all of yours. You guys can read other people's. So if you're interested, I would love to know in the comments below what your favorites are. Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to check out Ana Luisa. I will have my coupon code for them on the screen here, whether you're shopping for the holiday or you just want to pick up some things. There's a discount code for you to check out and the link will be below as well. But I will see you all in my next video. Bye.